Hello, Facebook world. Jen Barkin here with Do You Convert, and welcome to Online People Talking, or OPT, as we like to call it. This series is dedicated to you, the new home online sales specialist, where we'll talk about real life challenges, scenarios, successes, in hopes of enhancing your career. I have been so excited to have this op today because we have a very special guest, our very own Amanda Martin. Bring her on at Do You Convert. We are so excited. There she is.
Hey
Guys, if you are joining us and you know Amanda, if you've had the opportunity to work with her, let's show her some love on here. Give her some hearts. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is your first time on Opt.
It is. I'm so excited.
Yes, we're so excited. Yes, Mike, Jen, so excited. Surprise, surprise. Well, I want to take a few minutes, and if you don't know who Amanda is, I want to take a second and introduce you to her. So I actually met Amanda back in 2015, and we'll get into her backstory. When I was an online sales specialist, and she was one of the first OG online sales specialists in the industry. But Amanda has actually been with Do You Convert now for about 4.5 years. She actually started with us in 2019, and she's been doing some onboarding and training and coaching of our online sales specialist and some special project work at Do You Convert. And we have made her official. Like the kids say these days, she's actually coming on as a full-time coach with us. And we are just so excited. And it's been so great. Just a little internal story here at Do You Convert. When I sent out an announcement to our builder partners and letting them know about this, Amanda, I mean, the flood of emails back, like, oh my gosh, we love Amanda. She's so exciting. This is fantastic. So give her, everybody, a warm welcome. We're excited.
Thank you.
So like I said, prior to joining Do You Convert, she was actually an online sales specialist. And when we had our first summit back in 2015, I was an attendee. She was an attendee. We were both online sales specialists, and we were so excited to we're with our people, and it would be interesting to know back then how many online sales specialists were they. We'll have to ask Mike about that. Like, how many online specialists were there at the first summit? That would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
But Amanda, talk a little bit about like how you got into, we're going to go back in time, how you got into online sales, because it's kind of a unique story.
Yeah, so I had recently built my very first new construction townhome with my husband, and I just loved it. I loved the experience. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be in just the new construction home industry. I was so passionate about it, and I was like, how do I get started? I worked at a corporate store for AT&T, and actually Jason came in from Royal Oaks, and he was the OSC at the time, and he had dropped his phone in a toilet. Gross, right? But he had come in.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. Jason was the OSC, right? And had dropped his toilet. Anybody have a panic? Can you imagine having a panic attack that as the OSC you dropped your phone in the toilet? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Keep going.
He was like, my phone, it went in the toilet. It doesn't work. It turns on, but I can't see the screen. I need my contacts. I'm the face of the company. And so I was just there to help him, and I got him a new phone, and somehow magically I was able to get his contacts and just like totally saved his life that day. So Corey and I would joke all the time that was the golden toilet, right? But I just was super persistent with him. Like, I've been wanting to get into this industry. Tell me more about your company. Are you guys hiring? How could I come on and start with you guys? I sent him my resume and went through the, hiring process really. And it was a long, grueling 3-month process. But I just stayed persistent and was quick with my follow-up. And I went on to be an OSC with them, and it was an amazing experience.
Okay, so something that stood out to me, I just want to point out, you proactively reached out and said, I want this job.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I want this job. It sounds awesome. I want to get my foot in the door of the industry. Here's my resume.
Mm-hmm.
And you just persistently kept emailing and reaching out.
Yes,
You
that's
just
right.
you just beat them into submission to hire you, right?
Right. Yes.
Now
Uh,
you're, as a coach at GE Convert, one of the things that you help with is on the hiring process, right? And so you're working with builders and doing some interviews and going through the hiring process, looking for online sales candidates. In your opinion, what would you say, what qualities or traits make for a good online sales specialist? Like what traits should they possess?
Yeah. So I think, personality goes such a long way. Being relatable, being positive, friendly, coachable, quick on your feet with your responses, and just, having that I want to help you, I want to learn kind of mentality where they're going to be a good teammate and a good fit for the company. I think all of that just goes a really long way.
I love that. Do you
Yeah.
think that you have to talking on the phone?
Absolutely. Yes. You have to be relatable. You have to be comfortable
Yeah.
talking on the phone for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just being a good, teammate, because you're going to have to work closely with others in the role, whether it's sales consultants or, a team OSC, anything like that.
So my daughter, who says, I like animals more than people, probably wouldn't be a good online sales specialist.
Maybe not. Haley
Right?
just said that. I like cats more than people.
Okay, so we know that they are never going to be online sales. Yeah, so you got to like people. And I think something important that you said too is you said being a good teammate. So this is probably going to resonate with some of you listening, and that, Amanda, what you said was when you joined Royal Oaks, right? That was the builder that you worked for. You were coming into an existing program.
Yes.
So like the program was already established. You were coming in, but also you were joining a teammate who was already in the seat.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Your beloved
Corey. Yes. Love Tori.
Corey, give us some heart. Give your girl Amanda some hearts if you're watching. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what advice can you give if you're joining a program or if you're coming in where there's already somebody in the seat and now you're going to be a second or a third?
Yeah. So, I mean, that can be a little scary probably for the person that was already in the role. Like they're giving up some of their leads, like, they've been in charge of everything and now they have to share that with someone. So, you have to be willing and, be open to learning how they want you to take care of these leads because, in this role, you really love your leads and you baby them. They're your babies, right? So you have to be open and coachable and, want to learn and do your best with those leads and be a good teammate. But, it's scary at first maybe, but truly, once you're both in the seat, you're able to do so much more with those leads. You're able to get more appointments. You're better able to take care of the customers. So it's just a much better experience, not only for yourselves as OSCs, because you're able to help each other, but also for the customers.
That's so true. So, I love your perspective there is, we hear that a lot is, like my opportunity is going to go down if I bring on a teammate. And I've not seen that ever happen before. I've seen it actually opportunity increase, better conversions, better results because you're able to take better care of your clients. But also, I want to know, so was Corey, was she kind of nervous about it?
Yeah, she's the sweetest girl ever, right? Like, so she was always so sweet to me. But yeah, she did say I was worried at first, but this is great, so hindsight, right? It turns out to be a wonderful thing.
But I think too, you have such a great personality and, you can get along with anybody. I think that's important to remember, when you're coming into a situation, be humble, ease into the team dynamic, ask questions, be coachable, be open to learn. Even if you have maybe been an online sales specialist at a different company and you're transitioning to a new company and you feel hey, I have experience, I know what I'm doing. I think it's always better though to ease into that situation. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Totally. 100%.
Listen, we keep it real here on Online People Talking. So
That's
I'm just
right.
keeping it real. Like, don't come in all hot and, gangbusters and like trying to
Right.
blow things.
Yeah, you can share like, well, this has been successful in my past, but what do you think? Like it's, they were there, it's an existing company, existing role. So
Yeah.
just, add, but maybe don't push it.
Yeah. Don't push it. Ease into it. I love that. So what would you say? How long were you an online sales specialist before you left to be a mom for a little while?
Yeah, a little over 4 years.
Okay. A little over
Almost
4
5,
years.
but yeah.
Okay. And so what would you say the market was like during that time?
It was super busy actually. So it was a great market, especially when I first started. Corey and I, we set so many appointments. And of course, it did kind of trickle down towards, the end of that time, but definitely it was very busy to begin with. And we also worked in a really great market too. Like we were, in Raleigh, North Carolina, like everyone and their mom is moving there, right?
Yeah.
So great market, tons of leads, tons of opportunity. It was a hot market for sure.
Okay.
Kept us busy.
Also, I just want to put out there to those of you watching, if you guys have any questions for Amanda or myself, whether we're talking about this or anything else, feel free to chat, put in the comments, and we'll address those questions. As an OSC, what would you say was your greatest accomplishment? What are you most proud of?
Well, of course, learning the CRM, extensively to be able to help others learn it, like, the sales reps or maybe OSCs coming in. That was really, great to have that knowledge and to be able to share that with others. I also built out a lot of Google Docs. A lot of you know I'm a nerd with the Google Docs. So just being able to
we love you. We love you
for some of that.
We love you for your nerdiness.
Yes. So that was great. But in general, just helping so many people like start their new home search, like that's a really big deal. It's a huge part of their lives. They're so excited, and just to genuinely be able to help them, start that and guide them in the right direction. It just felt really good.
So speaking of nerdiness, you spend a lot of time, analyzing data and listening to calls and helping online sales specialists as a coach. So what is one message? So this is 3 parts. What is one thing that you would want to tell online sales specialists? What is one thing that you would want to tell marketers out there? And what is one thing that you would want to tell leaders, online sales leaders? So I know. What is one? So let's start online sales. What is one thing you want to tell everybody?
So numbers don't lie. If you focus on doing the process 100% of the time with 100% of your leads, you're going to see that as a reflection in your numbers, right? So just do your job and do it well, and the numbers will show how good you've done it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. 100% of the process. Jesse has that tattoo. Amanda, Rachel had it. Amanda's going to get it.
Yes.
She's going to get the new tattoo. What about marketers? What is one thing you would want marketers to know?
Just communicate with the OSCs and let them know like what you're sending out, when you're sending it, what you're trying to drive. But most importantly, to get a really good customer experience is make sure that it's going out at a time when the OSC is able to really handle that influx of correspondence. Because how many times would it go out at such a bad time when you can't get to everyone and you want to be able to get to them quick. That's the number one part of our role. So being prepared to handle that response is super important. So you have to work closely together, I feel like.
Communication is key. I love that. I can remember listen, I've done things the wrong way. I've done things lots of different ways, but like sending something out on a Friday afternoon.
The worst, right?
And one, online sales not even knowing what the message is, but then 2, having to handle the response that might come from that. And it's like, So been there, done that. Not the best way to do it. So make sure you're communicating that. I love that. Okay. What would you want managers listening to know?
So for managers, I think, just to sit down with your OSD, spend some time with them, look at the numbers and see what's behind the numbers. Like get in the CRM with them, hold them accountable, point out the things that are going well to encourage them. And also, help them learn how they can move those numbers in a, positive direction and increase them, right? Just spending that time with them, teaching them and being there with them, for every lead, every situation, helping them be better and grow.
Do you think that as an online sales specialist, you should be proactive in asking for the meeting? Like, let's say management hasn't met with you. It's not like a consistent type of thing. It's just like an occasional thing. Do you think that OSCs should reach out and say, hey, I want to meet with you? And that could be scary, but do you think that's a good idea?
Absolutely. I mean, you're only going to be better for it to spend that time and to show that you want to learn and, take advantage of being able to pick your manager's brain. Like they know so much about the company and the industry and just all kinds of different departments. So spending that time to pick their brain of how you can be better is absolutely worth it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, let's be real. It's a little scary to say, hey, manager, come peek under my hood and look at all the things I'm doing or the things maybe I'm not doing. But it's going to serve you better to be proactive in your communication. Like, hey, here's what I'm working on. Here's what I'm not. Here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I'm, feeling good about. And just proactively say, hey, here's what I want to talk to you about. And don't wait for your manager to give you an agenda. You come up with an agenda. And even listen, it's a tougher market right now. And like Amanda just said, people are looking at numbers. People are wanting to go, what's the story behind these numbers? What's the data telling us? So as an online sales specialist, be proactive and you get in front of it. You tell the story before anybody has a question to ask you about it. Yeah. Okay, we're switching gears to talk about, this episode is about converting to coaching and life in between. So we're doing the life in between part of this. If you're a working mom or dad watching out there, let's get some hearts because, look, the reality is you decided to take a step back from your career for a little while, right? When you had your daughter.
I did. Yes. Yes. I did maternity leave. It was amazing. I went back full time as an OSD and I did that for about 3 months. And then it was Christmas break and I was home with her and I just 100% clearly knew like I don't want to take her back to daycare. This is where I want to be now. Like I felt very 100% at ease. It was a leap of faith, a huge change, but that's where I wanted to be. And I felt great about that decision. So we just switched.
Yeah. So now you're back working full time, coaching online sales specialist. As a busy mom, what tips do you have because you have littles?
Yes. 3-year-old, 5-year-old
puppies, the littles, but you actually have human littles.
Human littles.
And how old are they again?
Jacob's 3. He just turned 3. And Haley is almost 5 as of next month. So,
3 and 5. Yeah, littles. So any advice for those working online sales specialists out there that are moms or dads?
Yeah, a few things. Well, as a mom, like so many things are floating in your head. Like the mental load is giant. So I find it helpful to really like brain dump and like make a list, right? And if you get it kind of out of your head and onto paper, I feel like it really helps with that mental load quite a bit. And then a manager I had years ago once said to me, like, be here now, like really focus on where you are right now. Like if you're working right now, be here now, focus on that. If you're being a mom right now, be here now and focus on that. And just try to block out like all the other things and focus where you are right at that point in time. It helps. So yeah. And then just, with the kids, like, everything counts, like, right? So even if it's just a minute of like going to bed, reading a book or whatever it is, those little pieces of quality time, like it counts. It really does. So it doesn't have to be some huge thing. I mean, those are great too, but everything counts, and take advantage of that.
Yeah. I think what I took from what you said is, one, I think living in the moment is, I remember reading something about this. If we live in the future, then that can create some anxiety, because we're like, what if, and like thinking too far ahead. If we live in the past, that can create some feelings of, like depression, or like shoulda, coulda, woulda, or, regret and things like that.
Right.
But if we live in the moment, that's the happiest you'll be, because you're in the present, in the moment. And that's where you want to fill the dash, right? Is what they say, is like being in the moment. And I think as it relates to online sales, yeah, there's a lot of distractions, whether you're a mom or dad or not, like just life. I mean, there's a lot of distractions, and being able to compartmentalize and really set boundaries around your day and try to say, okay, like from this time to this time, I'm going to give my energy to this particular thing. And then once I've given my energy to that, like I'm done with that and I'm moving on to something else. And when you're working, you're really working and you're all in. And when you're home, you're really home and present. Just like Bobby said, yeah, you're home and you're present with your family and you're dialed in, right? Because those moments count. How do you feel about online sales working when they go on vacation?
I think that's really tough. Like, I know you're like, oh, it's fun, right? To help people. And you're like, oh, no big deal. I can just be on call. Like, I can handle it. I'd rather take care of my leads than someone else. But truly, it makes a big difference to unplug. And I mean, I was definitely guilty of that in all sorts of situations, like weekends or whatever the case may be. But to really unplug and not have that on-call mentality of just expecting like your phone to ring and having to be ready for that, it makes a big difference. And it makes you just so much better when you come back and you've actually had the chance to recharge your brain.
Right. You just went camping over the weekend, right?
I did.
And what did you say to me this morning when we hopped on for our huddle?
I said that I needed that, and I just had to like recharge. It was so good to get away after things have been so busy. Like, what do people call it? Maycember, right? Like May is crazy. And so just to take a break and fully, unplug, it just makes you so much better, and you're just refreshed when you come back and you're better for it.
Online sales specialist. I'm speaking directly to you.
Look into her eyes.
Yes, look into my eyeballs. And I'm speaking directly to you and saying that if you do not have a backup plan in place, you need to figure that out. You need to be able to walk away and recharge your battery fully and not be like, oh, that's no big deal. I'll take my laptop. Speaking from experience, I regret that so much. Like, I regret saying, oh, it's no big deal. I can work while I'm in Jamaica. You cannot get that time back. And again, like we were just talking about, in the present, can't get that time back with your kids, with your family. So figure out what your backup plan is. Maybe we need to do a whole other segment. If you would like a whole other segment on creating a backup plan, chat it out here and we will make that happen. Okay. Rapid fire questions, Amanda. We want to get to know you a little bit personally. What are you watching on TV right now? I'm always looking for a good show.
Yeah. So I love to watch like a show and be, having something to watch in the evenings, whatever, to relax. But most recently, the one that I've loved the very most has been Shrinking. It's just so warm and fuzzy.
So Mike was just telling me, Mike just was saying about that. Okay, Shrinking.
Yes, it's good. Okay. So good.
Thank you, Raina. We love Raina. Okay, what book are you reading right now, if anything?
Kids books? That's got to count for something, right?
What's your kid's favorite book?
Haley loves Sophie Mouse so much, but I will say what she's been reading over and over is Fancy Nancy and the Loose Tooth, because she has her very first loose tooth, and it is a big deal.
Fancy Nancy.
Look on my tooth.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do to recharge your battery now that we're talking about this?
Yeah. On a day-to-day basis, just at the end of the day, watching a show and just relaxing. That's what I do. I always notice that if I, go for a walk, I feel better. And then just in general, vacation, like, from time to
Mm-hmm.
time, getting away from it all. That's the number
Yeah.
one true recharging
Yeah.
activity.
I think online sales specialists too have a hard time creating those boundaries around their day, especially if
Mm.
you work from home, right? So, in order to recharge that battery, at a minimum, just create some boundaries, some bookends to your start and stops during the day. I think that helps too. All right, what's a fun fact that not many people might know about you?
I was trying to think about this. I have 2 cats. Some of you may know that, but nothing crazy here. But 2 cats, that's a fun fact.
You're not like president of a motorcycle club or
No. Let's save
anything?
that space for you. No, I don't know. I'm pretty
We'll take
day-to-day
the 2
here.
cats.
Yeah,
We'll
2
take
cats
the 2
is
cats.
fun.
You live in Michigan.
I live in Michigan.
That's interesting,
I
right?
always lived in North Carolina up until
Mhm.
3 years ago, and then we moved to Michigan. So it's been fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys can see why we got so many excited emails back introducing Amanda as our new coach. We're so excited to have her, and you will be seeing a lot more of her. You can definitely visit the doyouconvert.com website and check out her bio, where it has all of the amazing things and accomplishments she's done in life. Thank you all for joining us today. Amanda, thank you so much for being on Ops. And we're going to see a lot more of you. You've got a lot of great tips and advice out there for online sales specialists. So thank you. And thank you guys for joining. We will see you next time on Online People Talking.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.